Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at 5 starts now.
Crimes against women in the Detroit area prompted 2 bartenders to take action. We'll tell you more about their plan to keep women safe.
But we begin with a robbery on Detroit's east side taking a terrifying turn.
I said, well, can I have my grandson? He said, no, not right now. Y'all will be straight. We ain't gonna hurt you, but don't you get up, because I was instigated. He said, you stay in that chair.
We'll actually get to that in just a moment, but we want to start with the weather and a pop-up line of storms sparking warnings and dropping hail. As you can see in this video, we just got in from Corktown.
Yeah, those storms come in after a sweltering day in Metro Detroit. Let's start things off here at 5 with Ben.
Didn't take long for these to get going, and now they're out over the lake. So the warnings have all been canceled here on the east side as these are now over the water and over to parts of Ontario. But the area that we're really concerned with is actually out on Gull Island, which of course is the site of Jobby Nooner. There it is, and look at how close all of those lightning strikes have been to the island. That's within a mile, so hopefully everybody has taken cover there as those storms approached, and also monitoring the possibility, as Kim mentioned, of the hail that's coming with these storms. Radar indicated some very large hail embedded within those cells. Hopefully that didn't make it all the way to the ground. We don't really have anything else that we're watching storm-wise right now, so we're going to continue to keep an eye on 4 Live radar, but it is hot. 96 is the heat index down in Monroe, and we've got more of it coming this weekend. That's all coming up in just a few minutes, guys.
Okay, Ben. Our other top story at this hour, a home invasion taking a terrifying turn after police said the attacker sexually assaulted a 12-year-old boy.
It happened early this morning on Beaconsfield, right in the area of I-94 and East Outer Drive. Our Sean Lay spoke to that boy's father and joins us live from Children's Hospital. First off, Sean, how is that boy doing?
That's the first question we asked Dad as well. How is your son doing? He's here at Children's Hospital. The father says his son is staying very strong, but certainly is in shock. These guys rushed in looking to rob the place, but one then takes the 12-year-old into a back bedroom to sexually assault him.
He was strong to let me know that he's fine. You know, no matter what, you know, Daddy, I'm alive. That's the main thing that matters.
A horrifying sexual attack on this man's 12-year-old son.
Yeah.
You know, even through everything, he was not going to let them see him scared.
A 12-year-old boy sexually assaulted by a man holding a gun to his head. The boy's grandmother came face to face with that gunman who forced his way in with 2 other men.
Had his arm up around his neck and a pistol to his head. He said to me, hey, Grandma, he said, you got any money?
It happened on Beaconsfield near Outer Drive early this morning as 2 of the men were demanding cash and cell phones. The one with the gun forced the 12-year-old into his bedroom to sexually assault him.
I said, can you please give me my grandson? He said, no, not now. He said, don't stay there, stay in that seat. Don't get out of the seat. Ain't nobody gonna get hurt, but you stay in your seat. Don't you get up.
With the dad at work, the father's wife was upstairs with their 1-year-old. She stood up to the attackers who were waving a gun in her face.
I said to her, you know, yeah, this is a real gun, this is real bullets. And then from there, he took out the clip and showed it to her. And then she just jumped up with the phone. Hey, police are on their way right now. Get out of my house.
And those guys ran from the house. So who are these guys? Just got off the phone with Detroit police. They're offering no update at all, saying their investigators are still out there looking for clues. The best description coming from the victims themselves, telling me that one had a white sweatshirt on, white t-shirt over his face. That's the sexual assault suspect. The other 2 had black hoodies. There was a dark SUV outside with a getaway driver waiting. Back to you.
Sean, has a family had any trouble like this before, ever?
You know, they haven't, but behind them, a home was broken into a few days ago. That stood out right away. It rung a bell saying, look, they just got broken into too. So they're wondering what's going on here. The sexual assault part, that's off the charts. They don't know what that's all about.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Sean.
Today, the man convicted of killing a retired University of Michigan professor learned his sentence in court.
But it's what 29-year-old Isom Hamilton did right before he was sentenced that's noteworthy. Jason Colthorpe was in the courtroom and joins us now with that part of the story. Jason?
Yeah, right before and right after, guys. One of the detectives on this case told me today Hamilton has shown no remorse for the murder. In fact, the only emotion he has seen from him was anger, and that didn't change today.
With a heavy police presence, Isom Hamilton entered a Washtenaw County courtroom defiant from the start.
I didn't receive any packet of paper or anything.
Wearing prescription sunglasses, Hamilton scoffed at the facts of the case, that he targeted, stalked, and then bludgeoned 76-year-old Robert Sharp to death in his home during a robbery last June. Hamilton set the body and house on fire to cover the crime.
And even though I'm exploding on the inside, I am going to try to be as calm and measured as I can.
Sharp's son, David, talked about how devastating it's been for his family.
Whether he felt any remorse at all for my father's murder. I wondered if he was haunted by the horror in my father's eyes as he lay dying, bleeding profusely from numerous stab wounds. If he hurt even a little from the memories of dragging my father's lifeless body down into our basement and setting it on fire.
Just before being sentenced to mandatory life in prison without parole, Hamilton maintained his innocence.
To the family, I'm sorry for their loss. I'm sorry for your loss, but I didn't do none of this. All I'm guilty of is possession of stolen property.
And afterward, as Sharp was hugging Hamilton's mother, Hamilton shouted expletives after being led away.
That actually happened a couple of times as he was being led away. Outside court afterward, David Sharp told us he was not swayed by Hamilton's denials. He said he saw all the evidence in court and said you might be able to explain away 1 or 2 coincidences, but not 100.
Yeah. Quite a moment to see the victim's family connecting with the defendant's family.
Outside again, too. And he said in his victim statement, he prayed for their family as well because they're losing someone. Sure. They clearly made a connection there through this case.
Yeah. All right, Jason.
Well, when Flint water prosecutors dropped all criminal charges in the case 15 days ago, it did not go over well with residents. The new team claims the investigation was deeply flawed and promised to explain why that decision was made. Well, that was set to happen, or is set to happen, about an hour from now, a little less now. Mara McDonald is live at the UAW Hall in Flint, where prosecutors are holding a community meeting here tonight. Mara?
Hi, Devin. Doors open here in probably another half an hour. You can see we've already got media in line and some members of the public. Here is the deal. Wayne County Prosecutor Kim Worthy, as well as Solicitor General Fadwa Hammoud, are coming here to Flint tonight to discuss the decision to dismiss those charges. They are the two who have been tasked by current AG Dana Nessel to handle the criminal prosecutions in Flint water. You will remember, under the former AG Bill Schuette, 15 people were charged in connection with Flint water. 7 of those got plea deals. 8 were remaining. 8 of the high-ranking officials in this case. Worthy and Hammoud made the decision to dismiss charges. They clearly think that there is a problem with the way evidence was collected under the former regime. They are coming here tonight to discuss that decision. And if you've ever seen Kim Worthy in one of these town halls, she's usually very frank. I have no doubt she's going to be equally frank here tonight. And I think we might get a better view into exactly why these decisions were made. So stand by. We're here for the duration. Doors open in half an hour. We'll see you later. We're live in Flint tonight. Devin, back to you.
Really eager to see what the residents have to say after they hear what's coming up tonight. We'll have that for you then. All right, Kim?
Well, it's been 6 months since Novi native Paul Whelan was arrested in Moscow on charges of espionage. There have been valiant attempts by his family, U.S. embassy leaders, and more to understand what he's actually accused of doing. But so far, they say no evidence exists. But as Nick Monticelli reports tonight, 6 months later, Whelan still sits in jail with no clear timeline on what happens next.
So here's the problem. On this 6-month anniversary, there are no major headlines to announce. There have been baby little things that have happened along the way, but nothing monumental. In fact, there's actually a step backward for Paul in his case, because now he's learned he's going to be in their jail for even longer. Paul Whelan was arrested in late December in a hotel in Moscow. He was attending a wedding, but Russian authorities accuse him of having a list of employees of a secret Russian security agency, although no evidence has been produced. Since then, American leaders have not said much about the case, although Paul Whelan's brother told me on a video chat some embassy leaders are working on Paul's behalf. And just yesterday during a court hearing, Whelan made a public plea asking President Trump to discuss his case with Russian President Putin during the G20 summit.
Mr. President, we cannot keep America great unless we aggressively protect and defend American citizens wherever they are in the world.
His brother agrees, saying this case is politically motivated.
I think it's at that level now, which is that it really is going to take a diplomatic effort by Secretary Pompeo and Minister Lavrov and the President Putin and President Trump to free Paul, because it's not happening at another level, and there's clearly no legal case against him.
In the meantime, Wayland's next court date has now been pushed to August, and his family fears the process will take much longer.
For example, we know that in many cases, when a foreigner is held by the Russians on false charges of espionage, they're held for about a year or maybe even 18 months before they're tried in a show trial and convicted. So we know that there's potentially going to be at least until December before he gets his trial.
Is there a chance your brother is guilty of what he's accused of?
Absolutely not. There's no chance at all that he's guilty of espionage.
In Detroit, Nick Monticelli, Local 4.
All right, Nick, and we haven't heard yet if President Trump discussed Whelan's case with President Putin. If convicted, Whelan could spend up from 10 to 20 years in prison. Well, today's warm weather saw partiers across Michigan gather at Gull Island to celebrate 45 years of Jobbie Nooner.
It is dubbed the Mardi Gras of the Midwest, and every year boaters hit the water for some dancing, drinking, and a good time. And this year, no different. Thousands of people showing up for this decidedly adults-only party that takes place the last Friday of June. Though, as we heard from Ben earlier, they've had to contend with some nasty weather, and hopefully everybody got out of harm's way in time. Yep. A teenager getting a spider bite doesn't normally make the news. This one sure does.
That's right. New tonight, what makes a bite from this type of spider on a 19-year-old up north so different, and why we all need to be aware.
Also, this isn't going to be an easy one to fix. A train derailment in Port Huron, and where it happened couldn't be much worse. Coco.
2 bartenders in Hamtramck have a plan to keep women in the community safe from crime.
It's not fair for people to be afraid just to walk around in their neighborhood.
We'll tell you more about their mission to stop the bad guys in their tracks.